Albert, the little tree with big dreams. No one loved Christmas time more than the plants at Earth Mama's nursery. Holiday cheer seeped through their roots. Maisie the palm tree swayed in her paw, and even Jean the stink breath weed got in on the fun. Little Albert was about to bring them more joy with a Christmas song. "Who's ready to get their jingle on?" Albert called. "This is gonna be the Christmasiest Christmas of all." But every year, as Albert watched all the big trees outside go home with happy families, he grew a little sad. "Look at those guys," Albert sighed. "They're going to get shiny stars on Christmas morning. Kids will go crazy pants for their presents under their branches." Albert loved his nursery family, but he knew he was destined for something greater. Albert slumped in his paw until a man on TV caught his attention. "Tomorrow in Bakershill, Vermont," the man explained, "one special tree oozing with Christmas spirit will be chosen as this year's Empire City Christmas tree, the most famous Christmas tree in the world." A special tree oozing with Christmas spirit? That sounded like Albert. He decided to do something big. He would sneak a ride to Bakershill with the girl and her dad. Jean thought Albert was out of his mulch, but Maisie believed in him. She wanted to come along. The second the coast was clear, Albert and his buddies snuck out to Donnie's truck to stow away in the back. Donnie had a plant delivery at Bakershill before the Empire City Christmas show in New York. Maisie bent her trunk backwards and launched Albert and Jean into the truck, then jumped in behind them. They waved goodbye to the Earth Mama's family and set off. Soon, Molly and Donnie stopped for lunch at a restaurant called Cactus. "Help!" a voice called from beneath the snow. Albert got out of the truck and started digging. He was surprised to find Cactus Pete himself. The freezing cactus groaned. Every winter I'm tossed out of so the stinking Christmas tree can take my place inside." Maisie perked up. "Did you say Christmas tree?" "Albert here is going to be the Empire City Christmas tree." "Oh, is he?" sneered Pete, sharpening his needles. "Well, considering I hate Christmas," he howled, "allow Cactus Pete to show y'all a prickly good time." Pete and his ragtag band of cacti chased after Albert, Maisie, and Jean, blasting spiky needles in every direction. Many of Albert's ornaments fell on the ground and shattered. But Albert and his friends bested the cacti and rolled a dumpster right at Cactus Pete, flattening him like a pancake. The plant escaped and headed into a nearby forest in search of Bakershill. There, they came across a family of rabbits. "Aw, fuzzy little bunnies," Maisie gushed. "Chomp!" A rabbit took a giant bite out of her leaves. "It's a vegetarian," yelled Jean. "Run!" They all jumped into a log and slid down an enormous hill. At last, they were there, Empire City Square. The purple sky swirled into the stinging December wind. Maisie's teeth shattered. A massive crowd gathered around Big Betty, the 80-foot evergreen, ready to ring in the season. Albert, Maisie, and Jean spotted Cactus Pete. He was aiming a spike right at the crane operator who was about to put the famous star on Betty's head. "Look," Pete cracked, "a falling star." Pop, wish, shing. Pete's needles pierced the operator's right in the hiney, sending the star swinging above. It sliced Betty's top clean off. "I'm bald," Betty cried. There was no place to put the famous star. Christmas was ruined. Albert looked out at the broken-hearted crowd. Right in the middle, he saw Molly, the girl from the nursery. He remembered something she had once told him. It's okay to be small, as long as it doesn't stop you from doing big things. Albert had an idea, but he needed help. People in the crowd gave Albert some new decorations, and the crane operator hoisted him up and up. Cameras flashed and the crowd cheered as Albert was lifted onto Betty's peak, and the spectacular star was placed on top of his head. At 3 feet tall, he was a perfect fit. Albert had done it. He became the most famous Christmas tree in the world. But when he looked down at Macy and Jean waving goodbye, he realized something was missing. His family at Earth Mama's nursery. Christmas time just didn't feel like Christmas time without them. Then Albert saw Cactus Pete. He was sad and alone. "You don't hate Christmas," Albert said. An idea was sparking inside him. "You just hate being left out. How'd you like to be shiny and twinkly for once?" Albert traded places with the cactus. Pete immediately started singing at the top of his lungs. "Oh, Cactus Pete, oh, Cactus Pete, how heavenly are the needles." Big Betty rolled her eyes. This is gonna be one long holiday. Albert, Macy, and Jean looked at Pete and smiled. It was time to go home. On Christmas morning, Molly stuck a tiny star on Albert's tip. "Every real Christmas tree needs a star," she said. Albert smiled. It was going to be the Christmiest Christmas after all.